Good day everyone, so Xuan has released here in Honkai Star Rail and a lot of people call her the Kokomi of Honkai Star Rail precisely because she can heal, deal damage and all of these sorts of things. So as you guys can see here, I'm on the official Honkai Star Rail site and obviously now in version 1.3 this character has been released. And what's interesting to me is she's pinkade, she heals, she tanks, she deals damage, and it's absolutely awesome to see. Now unfortunately I don't play Honkai Star Rail, but what I do play is Genshin Impact, but I do not have Xuan and Genshin, so I had to rely on someone on Reddit to actually play with Xuan in game to give you guys a bit of an idea of how this works. So thanks to Shero's Maya, that's quite a bit of a name, Mr. or Mrs. Myers here, we actually can see Xuan in Genshin with a bit of gameplay. So obviously this is now paying homage to Xuan, and this was actually posted on Xuan mains, interestingly enough. Now as I watched through all of this, I actually thought, well, as cute as all of the gameplay is that I'll show you here on this person's post, I actually have a bit of better gameplay that I can show you as well. So let's use this video as an opportunity to look at what you shouldn't be doing and how you can actually maximize Kokomi properly in a Nilou Bloom team. So hopefully you guys will find this to be very educational. And once again, I think the theme for today's video is not so much just Xuan, but highlighting this defensive, offensive role that Kokomi can play and why it's so cool in Nilou Bloom team. So right here in the beginning you can see, and I'll link this below in the description so you guys can watch it at your own leisure. You can see this person goes through Xuan, whatever, showing the model. We all know how Xuan looks, really. So this is where we want to start, and I actually looked at, and this is very rough because this is based off of Reddit, I actually looked at the start and end times, and this person took about 74 seconds to clear the Magukenki boss fight, and then there's some other fights here we're not going to get into, but I believe you can definitely beat Magukenki with Nilou without the key in under 1 minute, and that is what I'll show you in just a bit. But let's first see what this person does and what they are doing wrong. So let's just quickly play here. So right off the bat, you're doing the Nahida thing, and you should be ulting with your Nahida. You want to try and get her buff up as quickly as possible. You can see here very late on the Kokomi buff, so some of those little Dendro cores, you only got like one Dendro core explosion instead of two, so some of the aura management here right here in the beginning is not very good, and Kokomi is too long on the field. So one of the potential dangers that I could see there is that towards the tail end of Kolei's burst, if you now use Kokomi more actively, you can get the auras to flip onto Hydro instead of being on Dendro, and that will lose a lot of damage. You can see Magukenki went into the back, again wasting time here by dodging, because you can tank this with Kokomi, and in the current Spiral Abyss, which is what I assume this gameplay is you've got like this blessing that gives you an extra 40% elemental damage bonus, so why not take it? Every bit of damage counts. And you can see here this person is now just completely ruining the aura management. There's way too much Hydro on Magukenki. There should be a Kole Boomerang going out here. So as cool as this is, seeing Xuan playing this role here with Kokomi and so on, there are a lot of mistakes with the gameplay. So that is, as you can see here, very improperly done, and that is the end of that person's run. Then there's some Hyper Bloom shenanigans here with Yai. So with that being said, what is the proper way to play? And I think this is where I want to do a bit of an analysis and really show you how to make the most of your tank healer hybrid. So basically, let's quickly look at it. So what I immediately do is I use Nahida's elemental burst right off the bat. Basically, every single time we're going to trigger her skill here, we will start funneling particles to Nahida, and this is so important because you want to try and have as much uptime with her buff as possible, because it gives your team obviously more EM. Right, so with that being said, you then start here with Nilou, and then you now go to Kokomi. You want to already start adding and setting up all of your Hydro precisely to coincide with the burst of Dendro application that you're going to use here with Kole. So as you can see here, here's the Boomerang, here's Kole. So now you've got maximum Dendro application here, which you can now follow up with maximum Hydro application, and we use Nilou's elemental burst here for a couple of reasons. A, it allows us to apply the hydro a bit more slowly. So if you had to use Kokomi's elemental burst, you would be applying 2 instances of hydro, and you could unfortunately, with the jellyfish and Nilou's ring, run into a situation where this this Dendro aura is then flipped onto Hydro, and that gives you less Dendro cores, which is a big problem. But as you can see here, very carefully managing that aura all the time. You can see here we've got Dendro on it, Dendro on it, Dendro on it. Here is Kokomi, and then just finally more and more Dendro on it, even with her elemental burst. So this is a very careful management there, and we use her burst at the end to get a bit of a ramp up in Dendro cores, but also to refresh the jellyfish for the next wave. As you can see here, me being me, made a mistake, so don't do what I just did. So as much as I promised this would be clean gameplay, there's one little mistake there. But in any case, we stay at range here precisely because we don't want to aggro Magukenki to go towards the back of the map. This is exactly what we do. Whilst Magukenki is wasting time with his attack, we overlap that with Nahida's elemental burst, and now we want to try and get that Dendro aura on the enemy again, using that Kole boomerang as quickly as possible. As you can see here, unfortunately the enemy aggroed right in the back, but we let him suck us in, and then obviously we overlap Kole's burst here with Magukenki, and obviously there's a bit of Kokomi here as well to increase the Dendro core production, because, well, we don't have our jellyfish because of that stupid mistake I made. In any case, so there is the enemy. He's at a new position. We can reposition our jellyfish, and once again Kokomi tanks it, and that is what makes Kokomi so good. And you can see now, obviously, here we are back with Nilou. There is now an aura flip, and this is the danger that we're always running. So a good thing here would have been perhaps to tag with Nahida or Kole, but in any case, at the moment I kind of just made a mistake there as well. There we go. Here is the boomerang that is so important for keeping consistent Dendro application with Kole. And there we go, we can now use all of our characters, all of the elemental burst, and we are just maximizing Dendro core production, and once again without flipping the aura. And this is just what gives you the ability to run this in such a quick time. Look at that. So through very careful aura management, we did this in about 1 minute. And no, I'm not using my C6 account, I'm just using my normal account here. You can see this is the little Kokomi build, a very balanced build between HP, healing bonus, and obviously elemental mastery. And then the artifact set is just whatever, bunch of random pieces. But if I can do it with a scuffed Kokomi and Nilou Bloom team, with obviously with no key and whatever, you guys can also obviously do it. You can get less than 1 minute in the single target domain, and it's all about that precise aura management. And to really highlight this point, you can also see, if you replay this video, how Kokomi was so instrumental in healing up the team, in ensuring that everyone is topped off periodically. So this is what makes a good Nilou team. You're constantly cycling and managing that aura, and Kokomi is the one that, if you really are in danger, you can swap to her or to Nilou to tank a lot of the enemy's hit. But it's preferable to go to Kokomi precisely because she can control the rate of aura application and management on the enemy, and this is just what makes Genshin Impact so much fun. So whilst I fully appreciate what Honkai Star Rail does with the turn-based teams, and you obviously have the themes here with Xuan and so on, the level of depth that I get here and that I can get from Kokomi, this ability to apply an element, to heal up the team, to tank, to maneuver, to hit the enemy at range, and all these sorts of things, that to me is just what makes Genshin such a beautiful game. But with that being said, Xuan is an absolutely beautiful character, certainly my favorite character from the Honkai Star Rail universe. Alright guys, that has been it. That's also been it for this video. If you want, I'll link this post here in the description. Let me know what you think of this and whether you agree or disagree. From my perspective, I just love aura management and Nilou Bloom teams, and why not take this video to make another one of those. Alright, thank you for watching. Cheers.